Hi there, this is Penelope. This is question 3 in the DE4102 test, trimester 1, 2021 at Welltech. This question was particularly poorly done, mainly because a lot of you failed to follow instructions. Look at it, it says here marking all the relevant points. Now we've talked about that. Those need to be the intercepts on each axis. So while a lot of you got the graph of number 1 as being a straight line like that, the majority of you failed to note that that was -3 and that that was 3/8. Some of you kind of had it right, but you didn't have the number. You might have had 1, 2, 3 little lines, but that could have been 2, 4, 6. I need to specifically name the intercepts. Label the intercepts. The second one must be a parabola. This must be a parabola because it's got x squared. So it's not a straight line. Several of you did this as a straight line. And the other thing that a lot of you did was plotted. You drew up a whole lot of points and plotted them. No, it says sketch. So all you have to do is find the shape, mark off the intercepts, and then you're good to go. Now this question you had already solved equal to 0, and you had already found that x equaled 5/2 and -1. So that was from a previous question. So there was virtually nothing to do for this question, but mark off that. 5/2. Now you know that the y-intercept was -5, and most of you got that. But have a look at the x-intercepts. They are not symmetrical, so therefore -5 is not at the bottom point. So you weren't really, well, you could have found the vertex, and some of you did, but what you needed to do at the very least was draw your parabola so that it had its vertex like that. And that would have got you 3 marks. The next question, part 3. Now, when you're finding these relevant points, when you're finding the intercepts, one of them is when x equals 0. So when x equals 0, y in this case equaled e to the 0 plus a, which must have been e to the a. So e to the a was where it cut on the vertical axis, and then a graph like that. It's an exponential graph. You needed the shape, you needed the intercepts to get your full marks. Part B. Now there are 3 parts to part B. Many of you just ignored part 3. I don't know whether that was because you didn't know what to do or you didn't know the answer, but you just ignored part 3. To find a straight line, first up, you need to find the slope, or you can do it all in one go. One of the ways of finding the equation of a straight line is to use the version that says that. There are lots of other versions. You can just go straight to y equals mx plus c. Some of you did it that way. Whichever way you do it, you need to find m, and m is the rise over the run, so it's 4 minus 5 over 3 minus 2, so that's -1/5. And if you put it in the second of these versions here, you've got to put in that 4 equaled -1/5 times 3 plus c, and that gives you your c. So it didn't matter whether you left it as y equals -1/5 x plus 23/5, I think it is. Or you could have written it as y minus 5 equals negative a fifth times x plus 2, x minus minus 2. That also would have been fine. Now, to find the parabola, first up, parabola implies x squared. Several of you gave me lines that had no x squared in it. You must have an x squared in it. So try, first up, y equals, just using the intercepts that you've been given, which would mean x plus 1 times x minus 1. Now, if you check that, then you get a y-intercept of negative 1. But this is wrong because they tell you the y-intercept is negative a half. So this is wrong. So you adjust it by multiplying by a half. So y equals a half times x plus 1, x minus 1. And some of you wrote a half x squared minus a half, which is also correct. The third part of the question, which a lot of you didn't do, was really a matter of going, okay, I recognise that shape. I recognise the shape as that of a cubic. So try y equals x cubed. Okay, this doesn't match the numbers that you're given. So have a look where it says if x is 0, y is negative 2. So maybe try y equals x cubed minus 2, and then look at another pair of numbers. Okay, let's look at, say, x equals 3, y equals 3 cubed, 27 minus 2, 25. Yeah, so that works. So it's just a matter of looking at the numbers, looking at the picture, going, yes, it could be this, but it's not quite right, so I'll try it. So most of you didn't even try that one. Those of you that did try it virtually all got it right. So that was good. Okay, so that's the end of question 3.